Welcome to Gin Clear Aviation. My name is Dan. Today I'd like to introduce you to Ben Moss from Cloudbase GA, who has the most innovative new piece of equipment and software that may revolutionize the way we record and keep our data records of our aircraft. Ben, nice to meet you. Could you explain to me a little bit more about the Autolog system and how it works, please?
Sure, nice to meet you, Dan. Yes, at Cloudbase GA we started with a simple question, which is what is possible when your aircraft automatically keeps its own flight records? The design of that solution we call the Autolog, and to date we have installed hundreds of these devices in aircraft across Europe and North America. The Autolog is an entirely standalone device which uses the aircraft's battery master as a trigger to wake up, and then an inbuilt GPS records its position and speed. Each unit contains a SIM card which connects to the local cell network. Once the aircraft is shut down after flight, the Autolog automatically uploads to the cloud the time of first and last detected movements as blocks time, or breaks off to breaks on time. And it records the occasions that the speed went above and below a preset flight speed. It's the first and last of these higher speed values which form the takeoff and landing times.
So Ben, really interesting. Thank you for explaining that to us. So is there any chance we can go flying in your lovely aircraft and see how this works in the practical sense for a pilot?
Sure, let's quickly complete the online e-tech log and go flying. After checking the defect sheet, here in the pre-flight section of the daily tech log, all we need to do is say who the captain is and the flight type. In this case, hire. I'll click accept and enter my password and then press save. The first half of the tech log entry has been completed and we're ready to go flying.
So we've done a startup, so it records that.
Yep.
And the first time the plane moves, it records that as a brakes off time.
Yep.
And then presumably when we take off, when it gets to a certain predetermined speed, it'll record a flight time, is that right?
That's right. So this aircraft is 40 knots ground speed. Once it detects 40 knots ground speed, it will register that as a takeoff event, a takeoff time.
Great. Let's see what happens.
Confirm your Victor power check completed. 2-1 hold ready for departure.
Confirm your Victor, roger. No reported traffic to affect. Surface wind is southerly less than 5.
Confirm your Victor, roger. Taking off 2-1. Okay, so I've opened the throttle now, and the Autolog will be waiting for the ground speed to get above 40 knots, and it will record that time as the takeoff event.
And obviously when we land, when the aircraft goes below 40 knots, that's the landing time, is that correct?
That's correct, yes. It'll only upload the last landing time. So if you're doing circuits or touch and goes or something like that, it's not like it's going to upload multiple times. It's just the time of the last landing.
That information can be seen on the cloud-based system, either on your iPad or computer or the administrator's system.
Yeah, any internet connected device that has access to your cloud-based platform will be able to see the flight record as soon as it's uploaded.
And so who's actually using the cloud-based and Autolog system at the moment?
It's used primarily by flying schools and flying groups, although there are some private owners as well that see a lot of benefit from it. This aircraft is used for research flying by the University of Southampton and for a limited amount of flying training. And it has an Autolog installed, obviously. The majority of our customers are flying schools and groups.
In a flying school where they've got several aircraft, this just automatically sorts out all the administration. And does it get involved in the billing side of things, or how does that work?
So it makes billing so easy. You know who's flown your aircraft because they've completed the tech log and checked the defect sheet, and will allocate themselves to the flight after the fact. And you've got total peace of mind that the times that are assigned to that private hirer or to that student are completely correct, and so it makes invoicing through the system extremely easy.
You mentioned earlier that this can actually be linked to the maintenance side of the plane as well, which sounds really interesting.
our customers do all use this to make sure that they get absolutely every single hour that they pay for maintenance out of their aircraft. So if you've got you paid for a 50 hourly or 100 hourly check, you want to make sure you're getting absolutely every minute of that you're legally entitled to. And with a takeoff time recording and landing time recording, you can be damn sure with the auto log that you're going to be getting every minute that you are legally entitled to.
Leaving altitude.
Surface wind southerly 5 knots.
So now the speed has dropped below 40 knots. It will have recorded that as a possible landing time. Okay, so now that we've stopped, it will record this as a possible brakes on event, which will be confirmed when we turn the battery master off.
So when the battery master is off, an auto log totally knows that that's the end of the flight, and then it'll automatically at that moment go, right, I need to send that information to the cloud, is that right?
That's right, yes. So everything will be confirmed and it will start the upload process once we have turned the battery master off.
And then will that be immediately available for anyone to look at in your group?
Immediately, within a minute or two of shutdown, we'll see the auto log record, the flight record in the system.
Post-flight, the auto log times will have already been uploaded automatically. We can allocate them to our tech log entry from before, and this tech log entry is now ready for automatic payment or invoicing.
That was really interesting for Ben to explain how the autolog actually functions inside his RV12. But I think let's go and see two case studies, one a large flying school and also a large flying syndicate, and see how they utilise the cloud-based and autolog system in their flying. Today I'm at White Waltham Airfield with Dan Burt from West London Aero Club. Hi Dan, thank you for inviting us down today.
Hi Dan, nice to meet you. Welcome to the West London Aero Club.
Thank you. Can you tell me about your operation here?
Yep, so we've been here for about 20 years on the airfield itself. The airfield's a 30s airfield, so it was 1935 when it was first sort of set up here. Home of the ATA for a long time, and then we set up here about 20 years ago. Largest grass airfield in Europe. Pretty big flying school with about 1,500 members and about 200 students.
Wow. Okay.
All in all. You know, for various stages, we do sort of from nothing up to PPL and then a little bit beyond to IMC and complex training as well.
Amazing, amazing. So within that structure, what situation sparked your search for a more automated record-keeping structure? But I suppose with 1,500 students, there's a lot of people to look after there.
Yeah, I think that's probably the main thing, was the amount of work we had to do. In terms of, we've got engineering based here as well. The instructors keep training records for their students, and just the differences in systems we were using at the time. With the way Cloudbase operates, it's all integrated into one system. So being able to get everybody onto the same thing rather than using different systems in each department was sort of our biggest draw to Cloudbase.
How do your students and instructors feel that this system helps them? Do they find it easy to use?
I think so, yeah. The interface is very sort of simple, easy to look at. There's not a lot going on. It's obvious what buttons to press. And when you're going through the tech logs to book out for a flight, if you miss anything, you get a warning to let you know what you've missed before you sign out, so you can't get anything wrong. And for the instructor side of things, being able to put their student records, attach them to the flights, all in the same system, is great for them too.
How many aircraft on your fleet have autolog fitted?
So we've got 16 aircraft, 12 Piper Warriors, 2 Cubs and 2 Arrows, and all of them have the trackers fitted on them.
Incredible, that's amazing. So from a business point of view, how has the autolog and its cloud-based software assisted you from an aviation operation point of view?
I think accuracy is a big one. As I said earlier, being able to have all the departments singing from the same hymn sheet in the sense of all using Cloudbase. We've been able to tie it together a lot better than we had before because they were using different systems in each department. There was a lot more cross-checking than there is now. Flights that we do in operations, engineering see exactly the same flights that we've put into the system that the autologs have recorded. Whereas before there was a lot more cross-checking with what the pilots have written down, handwritten, trying to transcribe that into our old system. Whereas now the autolog has exactly what they've flown. Engineering pack that up, the instructors pick that up for their student records. So just streamlining everything really, ease of use is a big benefit.
So the engineering side of it also benefits from this system?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it's because all the hours are so much more accurately recorded now. So it saved us money in the sense that we're not flying perhaps more than we actually were. Before, everyone used to round up hours, so maybe round up to the nearest 5 minutes, whereas now it's to the second.
Yeah.
So we're getting things accurately into engineering for their scheduled maintenances as and when they should be done, rather than perhaps a bit too early before, where we were rounding up.
Okay. So, and also you can sort of preempt when to book engineering to do the work, I presume,
Exactly.
as well.
Yeah.
In a quite accurate way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So whereas before we were forecasting a couple of extra hours, we now know exactly where they're going to be because Cloudbase and the autologgers are so much more accurate than guesswork is.
Yeah. Have you experienced any unexpected benefits from the cloud-based system and autolog?
I think accuracy, as I said earlier, with the autologgers, it's to the second. So in some respects, people are saving money.
But the benefit is also for the student pilot as well, because they are only getting billed for the exact time they're flying.
Exactly, yeah.
There's no anomaly or overcharging or overtiming of it.
Yeah, and the system itself is very transparent. So as a student, as a member, you can go onto your account on Cloudbase and see all of your invoicing, future and past bookings, account top-ups if you're putting money on an account. It's all there for you to see, so you can see what we're charging you, what you've got booked coming up and what you've had booked. All of your tech logs are on there, so you can almost cross-reference it with your logbook as well.
Yeah.
At home, if you miss some flights off, you can pick that up at home as well.
So the student has access to the cloud-based system as well, so they can check their own records?
Yeah.
Do you believe the cloud-based system has saved you time and money?
Definitely. Before, as I mentioned with the engineering side of things, we used to do the tech logs for the aircraft manually. So they all have a paper tech log. The instructors would fill those in, and we would have to check all the flights and the times match up for the engineering side of things, turn it, and for the next day. There's none of that anymore. It's all done through the autologger, and it's all being counted in the background by Cloudbase, so we don't have to do any of that anymore. So that's a massive time save at the end of the day.
Would you recommend cloud-based to other aviation businesses?
Especially big clubs like ourselves. I mean, the benefit will be massive. If you've got different departments, like I've said many times with engineering and the instructor side of things, if you can integrate those all into Cloudbase, which we've done, for a big school like ourselves, it's saved a lot of time. And just having everyone looking at the same bit of information across all those departments. And I mean, it works, in all sorts of sizes as well, because it's got so many different levels and functions on Cloudbase that you can really use it at a really minimal level or use all of the functions on there like we do.
Dan, it's been great to see your flying school here at White Waltham, and thank you for explaining how the autolog integrates into your business structure. And I really wish you and your team a really great flying season ahead.
Yeah, thanks very much. Lovely to have you down, and hopefully the weather's with us for the coming season.
Thanks very much. We're now at Fair Oaks Airfield, where I'd like to introduce you to Paul Buckley, that runs the G6 group with this PA32 Cherokee 6. Hi Paul, nice to meet you.
Hi Dan, good to see you.
So Paul, can you explain, as treasurer of the G6 group, how you utilise the cloud-based and autolog system and how it benefits you?
Sure, yeah. I mean, honestly, we use the cloud-based system for all managing all aspects of the club. I mean, first of all, the pilots go onto the calendar system to book the aircraft out for the particular flight they want to do. Then for the actual flight itself, the logging is automatic. So when they taxi away, flight logging automatically starts. When they take off, the airborne time is automatically recorded, and then on the other end for landing, and then also for taxiing, the brakes off time. So the brakes time and the airborne time automatically logged. Pilot doesn't have to do anything, not even aware of it at all. Makes my job really easy as a treasurer, because maybe that evening or the next day I'll go into the system, I'll see that the different flight logs have happened, generate the invoices automatically just with a couple of clicks, emails out to the pilot. They pay via bank transfer, and I just log that I've received the different payments on the system, and then that's pretty much done. So it's really very automatic, very easy management.
And it's obviously very transparent for the pilots as well, because presumably they can also log on to the system just to check everything and see how their account, if you like, is working.
Yeah, I mean, they see all the different flight logs. I mean, each flight is logged, I think it's down to 3 decimal places, so it's really very accurate, the amount of time. There's really no arguments about the fact, when the flight took place, how long was the flight, because it's all there for everyone to see, so it's very easy, really, yeah.
And as the administrator, you don't have to be at the airport, do you? You could be at home or anywhere with your laptop and just check in and do what you've got to do.
Yeah, no, I certainly would be, yeah. I mean, pretty much we treat this aircraft as if it's our own aircraft. So we just come to the airport, do our flights for ourselves. There's no one else around here. And personally, from a treasurer point of view, yeah, I would just normally look at that, maybe the next day, invoice any flights that were from the previous day, that kind of thing.
And do you see this as a way, does it save you time and money is the question, I suppose?
Well, like I said, I mean, you've got to take an account of all the flights, how long the flight was. The fact that it's automatic, there's no arguments, there's no debate about it. I mean, I've been in other clubs before now where, on the old Hobbs meters where, it might be plus or minus a tenth, and, you'll be losing a tenth potentially each time. In this way, it's very automatic, it's very easy, and, there's really no doubt about it.
So it's accurate from a timing point of view, but what about an engineering point of view? Because obviously 50-hour checks, 100-hour checks.
Yes, that's another good point, because the pilots can log defects, for example. If there was a particular problem with the plane, they logged that on the system. But what's really good is all the hours that are logged on the engine, on the prop, the flight time, that's all used for the maintenance records as well. So the maintenance organisation also use all those kind of hours. They keep all the different records on the system also, and that's automatic from their point of view as well. We can go and look and see when the next 50 hours check is, next 100 hours check is. Also things like the insurance, the ARC registration, radio details, all those different dates are all maintained within the system as well, so all the pilots can check to make sure they're all current as well.
Paul, that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you for explaining that to us.
Well, you're very welcome.
Thank you. I hope you've enjoyed seeing how the cloud-based and auto-log system work, and maybe this is something you could utilise in your flying school or aeroplane syndicate. So until next time, this is Dan wishing you gin clear skies ahead.